it usually comes up at holidays. So I'm sure she'll ask me on Christmas Eve, about the next EOB she gets. She's always on top of her stuff, although she doesn't understand it. She knows I can help her with it.
It's like 2022 New Year's resolution. Learn how to read an EOB to impress my sister-in-law, right? I'm sure that's top on our list. She wants to impress me.
Yeah, I get it. They're not easy to understand.
But worth reading. I feel like that's the takeaway. Welcome, listeners. Today, Marisa is joining us. She's a Nova associate with 22 and a half years of experience in the healthcare industry, which is pretty outstanding because she can't possibly be much older than 28. Over those 22 years, she's worked in claims, customer service, enrollment, COBRA, provider networks, recruitment, quality assurance, core systems implementation, and now she works on our IT team as a core system config administrator. Internally, Marisa also leads our wellness team called Renovations. She's a mom to 2 sweet little boys, and she's super fun to collaborate with. If we were ever participating in tag team wrestling, she's somebody you want on your team because she would totally tag in. Marisa enjoys the interaction and collaboration with a variety of areas across the company, and she really is on a team that keeps our whole company running. I'm super happy to introduce Marisa.
Amen to all of that. So Marisa, thank you for saying yes to joining our little podcast here.
Thank you for
as
having
Sarah
me.
mentioned, Sarah mentioned your resume there, and we know that you are an encyclopedia in human form. So we're very excited to dive in. So before this meeting, we sent you 3 questions. What is something you've learned that has been so helpful? You tell everyone about it. What have you learned because something went so badly that you warn others? And given what you do, what do your friends and family always come to you for advice about? So you picked one. So I'm going to ask, given what you do, what do your friends and family always come to you for advice about?
It's every time that they come to me, because they know my wealth of knowledge, they ask me a lot of things regarding their explanation of benefits and their claim payments. How do I go about reading this? What does this even mean? Is this the correct payment? Over the years, insurance have changed the type of insurance. And, when you have like certain plans that have like high deductibles or just copays, it might be a little bit harder for the family member to read these EOBs. So a lot of times if they're not reading them because they don't have the knowledge, it could result in them possibly having to pay for a bill that they're not responsible for. So a lot of times, an example I have is where my sister-in-law came to me. She has insurance with Nova Healthcare, and she said, Marisa, if I was to have an EOB that was denied because it needed like a pre-cert, how do I go about doing it on the back end? And she's like, I don't understand my EOB. So I explained to her, in your documentation, from your SPD, which is your summary plan description, it should tell you also how to appeal something. But I said, you know what, you better just give them a call. I would just start with a call, and I went over the EOB and all the things on the EOB, and her rights to appeal is on the EOB. And a lot of people don't read the fine print.
I think people don't read them, Marisa.
They don't read them. And you know what? I read every single one of my EOBs because my dental claim was denied. And I said to the operations department, I said, hey, I think you need to pay my claim. And it was me knowing that I should review all my EOBs. And I don't get paper EOBs. I actually get electronic, but even though they're sent electronically, I still review them.
I think whether they're electronic or paper, and this is the thing, I think if you don't work in the industry, you tend to throw more stuff out. So Will and I were just obsessing about the letter that comes with the ID cards and some new language we're adding in for people to read. And I was like, no, nobody's going to read it. And I can't blame them. There's no time.
No, I mean, that is a big thing with the ID cards and the EOBs because we have to have that other language in there now. And I personally had to attach and we had to build all that in the system. So that's another thing that I do, right?
Well,
But-
aligned with what you're saying, there was an article in Forbes last week. I'm going to read you this because this is totally aligned with what you're getting at. So nearly 1/3, 31% of consumers reported being dissatisfied with the coordination or lack thereof between their providers and insurers. And this was according to a 2021 healthcare consumer experience study from Cedar, which is a healthcare financial platform. But just specifically, 37% of respondents said they are not satisfied with the clarity of billing and payment communications from their provider. And then similarly, 36% said they were dissatisfied with the clarity of their EOBs from their health insurer. So,
and the EOB is the thing people get in the mail that they throw out. That's the thing that says an EOB is not a bill, right? And just has this is what you're getting charged for. And I was excited to find out that you can Google some of those codes on there and be like, what did I get billed for? What is that?
Well, and that's
I would
another
have
thing.
ignored it before. And
Yeah,
that's the thing that I think is cool about this is that there's so much information on an EOB.
Yeah. People don't know what those codes are. I probably could tell you what they are in my sleep. What code is an office visit versus a lab versus an x-ray versus a dental cleaning. Like, I get it. But again, people don't. And they just kind of be like, oh, I'm going to open my mail and be like, oh, doesn't mean anything. I'm going to throw it out.
Wait for the bill.
Right. It's not a bill, so I'm not going to bother. But maybe I don't understand it. Maybe I wasn't responsible. Like, there could be like monies that you're paying out that you shouldn't. Or vice versa, I guess, too. It could work the other way. I don't know.
Yeah. I was billed once I had an EOB for a well visit, and they booked a well visit. And I was also charged for a sick visit because we talked for too long about something. And I was like, hold up, what happened? And it's because I read the EOB. So I think otherwise I probably would have gotten a bill from the provider, not thought about the fact that a well visit is supposed to be covered at $0 across the board nationally in the United States. That's the case. It's $0 copay for a well visit for an annual well visit for your child. I would have just paid the bill that was due to me. And instead I called the doctor's office, and then I called the insurance company, and then I called the doctor's office, and she was like, oh, that's just what happens. And I was like, honey, I'm in a high deductible plan. That is not happening today. It is not. No. And they took it off.
And a lot of times I think it's the providers too, because you talk about something for less than 30 seconds and they bill it, and it changes the whole scope of what your EOB or your benefit will be. And I think a lot of times providers, maybe they don't understand how to properly bill too. So it could be, there's so much.
There's humans on every end of this, right? So it could be a mistake. I mean, I'd love to say I've never had a bad day at work or screwed up.
Right.
But sometimes that stuff happens.
We got to get real
every once in a while. But read the EOB. I love that.
Yeah. It's
Just
important.
Another acronym in the industry. Did you wrap up your story about your sister-in-law before I cut you off and started giving you stats from a Forbes article because I want to be smart?
She called, she called and got it taken care of and ended up getting her claim paid for. It was denied incorrectly. So she was very thankful that I was able to kind of, steer her towards the proper channels, because again, she's like, this EOB is so confusing. And I said, Marie, let me help you out. But yeah, it was all good. It's usually all good when my family asks. So, and friends, because they know that I have that knowledge base. So yeah.
It's fun family conversation around the dinner table, right? So on that note, Thank you so much for joining us and being part of this experiment. We so appreciate you, especially around this time of year. It's a little crazy. Which one isn't it, right? But thank you.
Yes, I'm glad to be here, and hopefully I can be joining again sometime. This is fun.
Well, we know you have a treasure trove to share. So
yeah, I probably have more for you if you ask.
This podcast is brought to you by Nova Healthcare Administrators. Why did they let us do this? Because at the end of the day, every Nova associate is driven to do what is right. We want what's best for our clients and their members, and we do a great job sharing what we learn with each other. Between our colleagues and business partners, we know a lot of kind, smart, and thoughtful people who we convince to share tips with you. Well, thank you, Marisa.
You're very welcome.
And don't forget to leave a review, give us a like or subscribe, but more importantly, share. We'll find the insiders and you share it with the outsiders. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much wherever you're looking for podcasts.